Hello, soul friends. Welcome to Soulflower Soul Garden Podcast. Soulflower is a sacred service organization located in Tennessee out of the United States. We thank you for tuning into our channel. Please like, share, and subscribe as well as follow. And we also have other platforms on Facebook, we got TikTok, we have Instagram. We don't have a lot over there, but we have something over there for you. And I think that's it. Facebook, TikTok, oh, YouTube, of course. Our YouTube channel is Soulflower444. So, yeah, just like, share, subscribe to all of those things. That way you'll be up to date on all of our content that we upload. We usually upload once a month at least. But we shoot for every 2 weeks, but you know how that is. You know how that is. Now, today we have a special guest, but before we get into that, let's go through our disclaimers here. This is not a formal podcast, okay? We are learning and earning over here. This presentation is intended for 18 and over. No children. So parents, we just did our part. If they watching this, it's on your watch. All right. We don't own any of the images. We don't own if it. Well, we don't have any music this time, but we don't own any of this material either. We're just having a discussion, making some suggestions, and giving you the opportunity to notice some stuff. That's my entire calling and evangelist. We just want to get you to notice some things. All right. So, that's that on that. All right, let's get into our our topic for today. Yeah, and it is understanding deflective accountability. Again, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel so that you can get more information like this. Because you know this is the type of stuff that helps you to heal. It helps you to be happier, be more content with who you are and who you want to become. If you're into that, we're your type of people. If you're not, then have fun with what you're into. All right? I don't I don't judge. I mind my business, all right? So that's that on that. Okay. Now let's introduce our guest speaker. This is Evangela. I talk about her quite a bit on the podcast because I do my best to shout out people that I know are have integrity and are they're doing their work and they're trying to make a difference, trying to be the gift that they really are in the world. So this is Evangela. I've
Hello.
I've known Evangela for 25 years this year.
Yes.
So yeah,
Long
it's been
time.
yeah, it has been a long time. I looked at it and I was like, oh my God, it's been 25 years.
It's been a
But
good long time.
it has been, and I'm not going to butcher the advertisement this time. So I'm gonna let you tell them who you are and what you do and what type
Okay.
of gifts you're presenting, what kind of sacred service you do.
Okay. So my name is Evangela, and I am a recovery coach. I'm also a life coach. And what that basically means is I help people who are dealing with mental health challenges, have experienced, some issues with, substances, addiction. I help people to set and reach goals in their lives. And I do that in a way that takes into account what trauma does to us, the long-term impacts of trauma. So I'm a certified peer recovery specialist, a certified life coach, and a certified trauma care practitioner. And I meet people exactly where they are with compassion. I always tell people I am kind, I'm not nice. So things that I may share with you might bite you a little bit, but I'm always going to say it with tact and understanding that when we hear something that causes resistance within us, we may have a reaction, and that's okay. The reaction is not the problem. It's all about what you want to do about it. So I operate virtually anywhere in the United States or around the globe. As long as we can match up a time for us to be able to meet, you can meet with me. The name of my coaching practice is Alchemy Healing and Recovery Coaching. And if you want to check out more about what I do, you can go to alchemyhealingandrecovery.com. I'm on all platforms except for X at Alchemy Healing and Recovery.
All right, thank you, Evangeline.
You're
Again,
welcome.
that was way better than I've been doing it. I'm
I'm used to
sorry.
doing it.
I'm sorry. I'm still working on. I'm still working on my stuff. But
Yes.
well, I did want to make a comment about something you said in your introduction about
Hmm.
kindness, being kind and
Yes.
not nice.
Yes.
And kindness is what really has inspired me for this particular subject that we're going to be talking about today, because a lot of people think kindness is weakness because they associate
Yep.
kindness with being nice. Nice is a
Yes.
mask. It's a
Yeah.
persona. Kindness
Yes.
is a way of being. You
It's
know,
truth.
it's a way of being, but a lot of people that are kind think that they have to be polarized into being all light. And that's not the
Yes.
case. That we're not all made of light. You
I
know, we
agree.
have to be integrated. Our anger, when it is put in its proper place, it protects us.
Absolutely.
Our ego,
Absolutely.
when placed in its proper place, is protect us. So, I
Absolutely.
just want to make that comment. That's all.
Absolutely. We would not be alive without our ego.
Yes.
And that's the reality of the matter. The whole spiritual getting rid of the ego and things like that. No, you wouldn't be alive. The ego's job is to keep us alive. It is when it is out of its natural place that it begins to become a problem, you know? But
It
ego is
does.
much needed.
It's very much needed. Very much needed. It's needed to even be creative. You know, it's
Yes.
needed to be a leader. It's needed to be the janitor at a school. It's needed to be a
Yeah.
nurse. It's
You're
needed to
right.
be a teacher.
Yes, you're right.
It's needed to be a kid.
It is. It is. To individuate and become your own person, you have to have an ego.
Yes, yes,
Otherwise, you're a nobody. So, the ego gets a bad rep with you, and I'm glad you make that distinction for people.
yes. Because I know in my own history with walking my own path, I struggle with it, thinking that I had to be just nice or kind. I had, nice was my mask, but
Yeah.
I'm truly kind. But I have to put up with things, especially coming from a religious background. They teach
Yeah.
you, turn the other cheek, turn the other cheek.
Yes.
That has its place. The
Yep.
Bible also says there's a time and season for everything. So
Agreed.
we don't turn our cheek on everything.
Right.
You know,
Agreed.
even Christ
100%.
didn't turn his cheek on everyone. He
Right.
got upset when he saw people robbing people in the temple.
Yes. Yes.
So it
And
has
that's all ego. That's all
that's all
ego.
ego. That's all ego. This little tangent goes well with our topic, because our topic is about abuse. It's a
Absolutely.
certain type of abuse that I think a lot of people grapple with because it's so complex.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
but I think it's complex because it's very useful for the times that we're in right now,
Hmm.
especially when you have a particular type of influence. Like, well, if you just have a certain type of reputation, or you make a certain amount of money, or whatever type of abundance you have, I think that this type of abuse can easily be used, and the people get away with it.
Yes. Yes.
Um, could you? We're talking about reactive abuse. I
Hmm.
know that the title is different wording, but in all essence, it's along the same lines. So,
Yes.
can you give us your opinion of reactive abuse, what it is, and just give us what you think about it?
Yes. So reactive abuse, in my experience, and the definition of it is when an abuser does things to a victim,
Yeah.
and then that victim reacts aggressively to what they're doing. And oftentimes, most people, when they think about reactive abuse, they think about the relationship of diagnosed narcissists. We're not talking about people who you think are just who are just really selfish and things like that. We're talking about diagnosed non, I mean, diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder, and then the person who is termed the supply, the person who they are latched onto and they are doing things to. So you can have a person who, a lot of narcissists and even selfish people and abusers. This is not only relegated to the narcissist. They are seen as the model citizen to everybody else, but in their home, around, behind closed doors and things like that, they are, they can be terrible people. Not to say that they can't get help, but you got to want to be able to get that help when you are an abusive person or have abusive behaviors. And so, with this reactive abuse, it can look like the abuser nitpicking. You've got, someone in the kitchen, they're in the kitchen, they're cooking dinner and everything, and this abuser comes in and they start nitpicking. Well, you're not doing this right. They are constantly going after you and you're blowing up. And then you're having dinner with another friend or couple or something like that, and they come over. You're in the kitchen, you continue to get things prepared. The abuser comes into the kitchen and starts picking with you, but not loud enough for anybody else to hear it. They get you riled up. You start going off on that person, and then they throw their hands up. They move back and they say, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! What's this all about?" And you get pissed because you're like, "What? What do you mean? You were just here in this kitchen picking with me. What do you mean?" And so it's a manipulation tactic designed to make you look like the crazy one. And what this does is it gets the people who don't know what's going on behind closed doors on the narcissist side. And it puts you into a box and it causes you to just be reactive. So that name is you reacting to someone else's abuse is how I sum it up. I have experienced it before. It is infuriating and I don't and this is my own personal opinion. This does not constitute any medical or psychiatric advice. Talk to your healthcare professionals to get the advice that you need for your situation. But in my experience, I don't really like to call it reactive abuse because it's genuinely just reacting to what someone else has done, and it makes it seem like the person who initiated all of this is a victim, and they're not. They're not. They are just receiving the results of them starting a fire and stoking the flames, and then you end up getting burned.
Yeah,
You
I,
know.
I I agree. That's something I'm glad that you pointed out that anyone that's experiencing these type of abusive situations, it is imperative for you to know that it is normal for you to have your reaction.
Yes.
Whatever your truth is, if you're being legit abused,
Yes.
it is your right to
Yes.
respond the way that you feel you need to respond in order to protect yourself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And the most of the time when you are again in that situation where you have somebody who has, narcissistic behaviors or a diagnosed narcissist, their whole MO is to try to get a reaction out of you. That's the whole purpose of the poking and the prodding and the constant coming after you and the pushing of the buttons is to try to get a reaction out of you. There is only so much that you can take.
Yes.
There's only
Yeah.
so much that you can take. And I know the guilt and shame can come up as the result of you having these reactions, but that's when I encourage you to sit down in front of a therapist, Get all of those things out, work through those things so that you can see the reasons why you are reacting the way that you are. And that will give you even more incentive to get away from that person so that you're not stepping outside of the character of the person you know yourself to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You made some great points about how they try to abusers will try to pull you outside of your own character.
Yes.
And the only way that someone can pull you outside of your own character, if you don't know what your true character is, the light
Hmm.
aspects of it and the dark aspects of it. So
Absolutely.
I think shadow work helps us as individuals and as leaders so
Yes.
that we can be better individuals and better leaders for the communities that we participate in.
Absolutely. I agree with you
Yeah.
100%.
And
100%.
absolutely. Okay. And I don't agree with reactive abuse. I think, the term, I tend to think it's a bit murky.
Yes.
Um,
I agree. I agree.
it's too vague.
Yeah.
Um, and also I think it's suspicious that it's not a lot of research on it.
Yeah.
You
It
know,
is a fairly recent term to my knowledge. I'll have to do some more research on when it actually came about, but more people have been talking about it. And then, on social media and everything, people I love the fact that there is more talk about mental health. We're, talking about it more so that removes some of the stigma, but people are also taking terms out of context and they don't
mhm.
really understand what it means. And so that makes it kind of difficult for us to be able to understand because when you attach abuse to the word reactive. And I do recognize that, yes, sometimes the tables can be turned. And just like on, what was that movie, Diary of a Mad Black Woman?
Mhm.
Where I think his name was Charles, was
Yeah.
doing all of this stuff to the protagonist. I can't remember what the lady's name was, unfortunately, but played by Kimberly Elise, I think it was. But
Yeah, it
once
was his
one,
wife. It was his wife.
yes, and
Yeah,
once
the
he was
setting off chick.
incapacitated, he
Yeah.
was he was incapacitated. She started to do it. She started to do some things to him because he didn't know his proper place. So that also makes it kind of murky of when we have the opportunity to retaliate when we are no longer being abused, what do we do with that? And that may be a conversation for another time. But reactive abuse is you are constantly being nitpicked with, you are constantly being pulled and your buttons are being pushed. You react, and then the person who did it says, see there, you're the crazy one. You're the one that's
Yeah,
abusing me. You're the one that's doing this. You're doing that.
absolutely. You did a great example. While you were talking, I was thinking about, I love romance novels.
Hmm.
And uh while I'm working, I'll listen to novels.
Yeah. Same with me.
Audio books they're a big thing right now. So,
Yeah.
and that is incredibly exciting to me. It just lights the nerd inside of me up like the sun. I
Yes.
love that. But so I have access to countless novels. And there's
Hmm.
this particular story that I've been listening to about a girl that she has a sister, and they're daughters of barons. So it's like back in the day in the
Hmm.
17th, well, I think it's the 18th century.
Hmm.
Well, wherever they wore what do you call those things? Dang, you wear them around your neck. Start with A.
Unks.
No, 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 it's not jewelry. Ascot. They were the
The
ascots and the
scarf.
big
Yeah,
and the
scarf.
big ring.
Yeah.
Like on Bridgerton, they like
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
days.
Yeah.
So okay, so this girl, she and her sister are daughters of barons, and
Hmm.
her sister, which is her younger sister, is jealous of her. So what
Hmm.
her younger sister do? She lures her out into the garden, and then she attacks her and scratches her face up.
Mm.
And the girl had been taunting her and taunting her and taunting her and doing all types of stuff outside of their parents, you know, You know how
Yeah,
they,
knowledge.
yeah,
Yeah.
the knowledge and the vision and stuff. So she's been bullying her. So she reacts by scratching her own face too. So the girl attacks her, scratch her face up, and then she starts scratching her face too because she starts hating herself because the people that surround her are telling her she's not worth anything anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's a
Yeah.
form of reactive abuse as
Yeah.
well. But then they told her she was crazy, and she started wearing a mask to hide her face
Yeah.
for like
Yeah.
10 years after that because of the fact. So
Yeah.
it made me think of that novel
Yeah.
that I've been listening to. It's it's
Absolutely.
it's grimy. I think it might be a little grimier than Bridgerton,
Oh,
but
well, Lord. All right. I've heard
yeah,
the Bridgerton books were, I haven't read the books.
I haven't read the
Well,
books either.
I take that back. I've listened to, maybe it's book. I think I might have listened to two or three books because my partner is the one that got me on the Bridgerton and everything and has the books, but the books are far more spicy
The books are
than
always
the
are,
series. Yeah.
always are. They don't have the time. They don't have the budget to
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
all the juicy stuff in the books. Just like Color Purple. Color Purple is
Yeah.
awesome, but the
Yeah.
book is amazing.
Yeah, I heard. I have not. I need to read. It always comes back to me that I want to put it on my reading list, especially now, that audiobooks are kicking and I too work while listening to an audiobook or music or whatever. Putting it back on my list of books that I know I need to read because I love The Color Purple, the movie and the musical was very
Oh
good.
yeah, I liked it too. There was I had some criticisms that I thought that I disagree with, but everybody has a right to their opinion. I loved
Absolutely.
it. I thought it was a good remake. I
Yeah.
thought that the characters did a great job.
Hmm.
My heart still is with the 1980 version
Yes.
because
Yes.
that's the version that I grew up with and that I was introduced
Yeah.
to. You know, I have
Absolutely.
sentimental value with that one. It doesn't take away from what uh they did,
Absolutely. I
from the
agree.
get-go. So,
I agree. I
and
agree.
it's a different genre, so we can't
Yes,
really
agreed.
compare them.
Like they're side by side. They're not, one is
Yeah,
not meant to replace. I don't think the new Color Purple was meant to replace the old one because they're not the same. I think it was a great compliment to the original and, made it a little bit more lighthearted with the singing and everything. And I mean, they tore it up. Fantasia was great. But anyway,
yeah.
they
She
all were.
always is. She
Yeah,
always is. Well, let's get back to the subject at hand.
absolutely.
What are some healthy ways that we could deal with since you're a trauma coach? What are some healthy ways we could deal with, this type of abuse? What are some ideas that you may have
Well,
that you
well,
could
one of
give
the
us?
first things that I would recommend is when you recognize that this is going on. There's this, so the what that is called Darvo. You'll hear people talk about Darvo all the time. It's called deny, attack, reverse victim, and offender. And basically, what that means is you come to the person, the abuser, the narcissist, whoever it is, and you explain to them that their behavior was something that was hurtful, harmful. They deny that it happened. They say, "Oh no, you took it too personally. You're too sensitive." Blah blah blah. And then they begin to attack you until you make it about them. I feel attacked. Why are you attacking me? And
Mm-hmm.
that is the reverse victim and offender.
Okay.
So now they have become the victim, and you're trying to defend yourself against them. You're trying to convince them that you didn't mean whatever it is that you said. And usually this throws us off balance. We feel confused. We're like,
Yeah.
how the hell did this happen?
Yeah.
How did we end up here? And that can also, it can breed resentment because it's designed to make you doubt your reality. People also talk
Yeah.
about gaslighting a lot.
Yeah.
They don't know what gaslighting is. There was an actual movie
Yeah.
that this came from. I believe it was called Gaslight. Don't make me
I
look at.
think so.
I believe it was called Gaslight.
I
But there
think
was
it
an
was.
actual movie about gaslighting that shows us what it is And most things are not gaslighting that people think are gaslighting. If you've experienced gaslighting, you're gonna know. And gaslighting can come at, in at several different levels, to full on manipulation, just lying and making people doubt their reality. And then, you did something you had no business doing. Somebody comes and asks you about it. You say, "No, I didn't do that. You must have saw something that wasn't there." Dishonest, dishonest, at least harmful, at its worst and causing problems with people. So the things that I suggest for people if they are experiencing these things is first of all, awareness of it is the first thing.
Yeah.
Without awareness, you can't do anything about it. Second, if you are seeing a therapist, if you have trusted, safe others in your life, having that conversation with them about it. You know, I feel like I'm experiencing this. What should I do within the midst of this? And one of the things that I have done is I stop engaging. I stop engaging. And that means when I know that I'm dealing with somebody that is going to constantly try to get me worked up. And this is if you're in a space of safety. If you are in a relationship or in a household or something like that with somebody who is physically putting their hands on you, if they are, doing things, they might, put you out of the house or something like that, your safety is what's most important. People always want to talk about boundaries and things of that nature. You have to gauge your safety because if you try to set boundaries with somebody who is abusive to you and physically abusive to you and they will put your life in danger, I tell you to pause on those boundaries until you are able to get away from them
Yeah. Yeah.
because those boundaries can absolutely cause you to be put into a dangerous situation
Yes.
that
Yeah.
nobody has to deal with but you. When people
Yes.
talk about asking, domestic violence survivors, why did they leave sooner? Or domestic violence, people who have fallen victim and have been killed through domestic violence, why didn't they leave earlier? It is exactly for these reasons. They were not able to find a safe enough space to be able to set those boundaries and leave. And they do it when they can. So, first of all, recognizing it, saying that there's awareness there, and then talking to safe others, establishing that safety network so that when the time does come for you to address this or to leave, you can leave.
Yeah, it takes a lot of bravery too. That's what a lot
Yes.
of people don't realize about abuse. This is not just a random stranger either off the street who's
Right.
abusing you, in many cases. These are people that are intricately woven into your life. So
Yes.
if you have
Yes.
somebody, if it's a mate or a parent, and you're a minor, or
Yes.
there are different circumstances. Everything is not black and white.
Yes,
You
financial
know,
dependence.
yes,
There are a lot of people who are financially dependent. You have, outside influences like family telling you need to stay, friends and
yes,
things. So it's very rarely black and white. It's most always gray. And a person leaves when they can. It's just that simple. And the person who was not able to leave, we should be showing kindness to them. We should be having compassion for them instead of making them the villain in why they didn't leave. So we leave when we can, when we have safety, and that's not only physical safety, that's also emotional safety,
yeah,
mental, psychological safety.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
we start building that support network if we can. And then we want to start looking at those boundaries once we have that safety.
yes,
These are the things that have to happen for me. If you do this, I'm going to do this. If you don't stop pushing my buttons this way, I'm going to leave the house. I'm not going to engage with you. I'm not going to have this conversation with you. There
yeah,
is also a technique called gray rocking, and that is where you are just a gray rock. There is no emotion given. If they ask you a question and try to get you riled up, you answer yes or no. You don't get pulled in to constantly trying to explain yourself and why your emotions are valid. Now, with the gray rocking, again, people, avoidant personality types within the the whole anxious avoidant conversation where people think that for the rest of their lives they're going to be an anxious attachment style, they're going to be an avoidant attachment style and they can never move secure. I am disorganized attachment, meaning I am anxious and I'm avoidant. It depends on the scenario and the person and
Yeah.
what's going on. Within that communication with gray rocking, do not use gray rocking to avoid conversations that are not being your buttons being pushed by a narcissist or an abuser. If
Yeah.
someone is coming to you and they're trying to have a genuine and honest and conversation about how you are impacting them, it is not okay to use gray rocking. It is
Yeah.
also not okay that if someone is coming to you and they're expressing an issue that they have with you, for you to bring up all of the issues that you have with them in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have issues with that person or something they have been doing, it is best to address that in the moment. If the emotions are too high and you need a moment to cool off, you need to express that. Say, I need a moment to cool off from this and then come back to the conversation. But if someone else is expressing that they have these issues, you are harming them, you're hurting them, and things like that, that is not the time for you to say, well, you did this, you did this, you did that. That is a manipulation tactic, and you are derailing the conversation to avoid accountability. So if you are dealing with someone who is, again, a narcissist or an abuser, and they are constantly trying to push your button, gray rocking can be a useful technique where you're responding with yes or no. You say exactly what it is that you mean, and you leave it at that. If they keep pushing at you, you put a boundary in place. I am not going to continue with this conversation. Either you can accept what I have said or not, but I'm not going to continue to go around and around in this circle.
Yeah.
And then they can do
I
whatever they need to do with that.
I agree 100%. Uh, the only thing I would add to that is to reiterate what Evangelist said. You have to be aware. You have to be present to your own experience. You
Yes.
you not only have to check what they're doing, you have to check what you're doing. That's
Yes.
what you need to check first. Once you
Yes.
notice what's going on with you and you work on that, then all of this will come naturally, what Evangelist is talking about.
Yes. And
Because
practice.
you're right, in practice, you're able to balance out. You're able to put things in their place. Like we said earlier, be able to recognize when it's a time to use these techniques and when there's a time not to. Because every tool can be used for health
Yes.
or some toxic.
Yes. Yes.
We can
If
twist
you have
all
not,
this shit to be something completely different.
yes. Yes. If you have not heard of weaponized therapeutic language,
Yeah.
because a lot of people are doing it now, because we're talking more and more about mental health. These terms are being normalized, and people will absolutely weaponize therapeutic language in order to make you feel like you're the one that's doing something. And one of those terms is boundaries. One
Uh-huh.
of those terms is gray rocking.
Uh-huh.
Boundaries are not to
Narcissist.
be used. Yeah, boundaries are
They
not to
handing
be
them
used to
titles out
control
like
anybody
candy.
else's. Yes. Oh, you're a narcissist. No, ma'am. I just told you you couldn't have what you wanted. No, ma'am. I just told you what you were not going to do in my house. That does not make me a narcissist. And so we have to make sure that we are checking in with ourselves because there is a diagnosed narcissistic personality disorder, and then there are narcissistic behaviors.
Yeah, right,
And all humans have narcissistic behaviors.
right. Manipulative tactics.
Yep.
We lie. We
Yes.
do a lot. We
Yes.
do a lot of stuff, but if you're not being honest about how you're doing those things,
Yes.
then you really don't have the right to call out anybody else until you
Yes.
fix what's going on with you. And I say that
Yes.
not in judgment, but in the intention of letting you know that if you do these things, it will eventually bring suffering to you. And that's the
Absolutely.
purpose of suffering. The purpose of suffering is to have you to awaken to what's going on in the inside you. It don't have anything to do
Absolutely.
with anybody else. Because the only person you can change is you. Only
Absolutely.
feelings you can change
Absolutely.
is you. So
Yes.
I just thought that this was an appropriate conversation, especially now that the therapeutic terms are becoming more common. Because back in the day, we
Yes.
didn't know nothing about this.
We didn't.
You just an asshole. You just
Yeah.
ignorant.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just
You're just a
selfish.
jerk. Everybody cut you off. You acting funny, and everybody
Right,
cut you off.
right,
Yeah.
right. So now that we have these terms, um, and I think, and I think it's just a different form of what people that are in different institutions, religious institutions,
Hmm.
that moral superiority
Yeah.
we get to adopting that. We're adopting more terms, biblical references, knowledge puffers up. It makes us
Yeah.
more arrogant. We have to
Absolutely.
balance our intellect and all of
Yes.
our faculties in a way where they're not imbalanced. Because
Absolutely.
if any of them motherfuckers get unbalanced,
Yes. We got a problem. We got a
yes,
problem.
there's
Yeah.
a problem, and it's called pain. Who was it that said?
Yes.
I think it was Iana Van Zandt that said, "Pain is pay attention inward now."
Yeah. Yeah. I've heard that before. Yes.
So yeah, I agree. I agree. Um, what else? You've covered this well, Evangela.
I talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
And I have my own personal experience with it. So, you get
Yeah.
very acquainted with what you've had to do for yourself.
Okay. I did come up with some questions while I always think about the things that I talk about. I always reflect on them. Why they're important. Um, well, I'm spiritual, so everybody may not be spiritual. I am. So
Yeah.
when I go on the spiritual tangent, I tell people on the podcast, if you don't believe in spirit, that is fine.
Yes.
That's your right.
Absolutely.
You might not be here to experience what I'm here. Well, you're not. And I don't have the right to tell you what to believe. I'm
Right.
just telling you what
Exactly.
I believe.
Absolutely.
Um, and what I came from my spiritual practice, the things that
Absolutely.
I do to keep me balanced. Because
Hmm.
some people work out to keep themselves balanced.
Absolutely.
I am
Yes.
not that person.
Right.
But you got my support.
Absolutely.
Got my support. But in my practice, I always come up with different questions to ask myself. Because I
Uh-huh.
really believe in inner work and I really believe in shadow work. I believe
Yes.
that if all of us practice some form of that, I
Yeah.
don't give a damn how you do it. As long
Yeah.
as you do it. And
Yeah.
whatever capacity it is for your path that you create for yourself, you just find a way. Again, I'm just here to help you notice some shit. That's
Yes.
all we here. We done lived a little. We young elders now.
Yes. Yes.
And now the generations, where the world is constantly changing, and that's the nature of the world.
Yeah. It is.
So,
I agree.
we can't, Evangeline and I, we come from the same uh, leadership
Yeah.
organization, and we
Yeah.
believe in leading edge information,
Yes.
being present with the times.
Yes.
And I'm losing my track. Oh yeah, the question I came up with, yeah,
Okay.
in regards to that, was when you're in these situations, because it's always a pattern. It's
Yeah.
always a pattern. Is what is the experience? What is this experience making visible to me?
Yes. Yeah.
What, and you have to be still for this. This
You
is not
do.
something you could do.
You do.
Uh, well, it's most effective this way. If you're in an abusive situation, things are chaotic
Chaotic.
anyway. So the first thing that I would suggest you do was to get still somewhere. Get
Yes.
somewhere where it's quiet enough for you to sit with yourself alone. Even if
Yes.
this place is outside. But
Yep.
if you
Yeah.
can't get outside, get in a room and ask yourself questions like this. And this takes bravery now.
It
It takes
does.
bravery because we don't want to believe the dark side of us.
We don't.
And
Nope.
it's not just the lying, cheating, and stealing. That's the depressed, the the stuff that happened to us in our childhood. the
Trying
stuff
to get
that's
a need
happened over,
met.
yeah, all of that.
Yeah.
Uh, Here's another good question. What feelings are repeating inside of me? Not just what
Hmm.
I'm feeling. It
Yes.
takes stillness for you to recognize the repeating emotions as well.
Yes. Yes.
And it takes
Yes.
stillness to help you to realize that you're not gonna die if you feel it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Agreed. These are great questions.
And then here's another brave one. What choices do I keep avoiding?
Mm.
What is the inevitable truth that's in the background? These are good
Yes.
meditation questions. And
Hmm.
how can I stop postponing what I know to be true for me?
Yes. Those are
All
great
great
because
questions.
those are because oftentimes we get those inklings, we get those hints that tell us we need to scoot, we need to get the hell up out of here. You know, we need to change, we need to do something different. And because we are so attached to the familiar,
Yes.
we don't and we can't see anything outside of that. We think that we're incapable. We
Yes.
think that we can't have anything, different happen. And I can tell you that it is very difficult to see a different perspective staying where you are. You can't
Man.
heal in the same environment that made you sick.
No, you can't.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, that environment is more likely going to pull you back than for you to affect any change in it.
Well,
I remember my own transformation.
especially if you you're experiencing that Darvo effect. That's just
Yes,
going to keep you in the loop. It's
it
going to keep you in
is.
the loop because you literally are the people that are around you normally.
Yes.
At least those first five. So
Yeah.
it's good to be mindful of who those
Yes.
people are
Yes.
because you might not do the shit that they do,
Yeah.
but yet.
Yeah. Agreed.
But
How are you
eventually,
gaslighting yourself?
right? Eventually, if you st- it, it's natural. If I
Yeah.
sit a cup of water out that's cold, eventually it's going to acclimate to the temperature that's
Yeah.
around it.
Yep.
And we're the
Agreed.
same way.
We are.
We
And we
made up
become
of water.
desensitized. we yeah, we become desensitized. And
Yeah.
so that's even a thing within psychology. It's called like a solar system. It's called a family system. If
Yes.
you hear people talk about that system that you exist in, it has a harmony. It may not be a good harmony. It,
Right.
it may not be a good harmony, but that system works together to create harmony. And when something steps outside of that system, the entire system comes together to bring it back into the balance that they know.
Yep. Yep.
That when you talk about, and this is another thing that people talk about, those flying monkeys that the narcissist has around them, they go out to bring you back in so the system can go back into harmony and the
Yes.
way that it has been. Is it
Yes.
toxic? Absolutely. Is it unhealthy? Absolutely. But that system has operated with those
Yeah.
parameters for a long time.
Yeah. Just because
And
it's
when you step
toxic don't mean it
outside of
don't
it,
work.
that's right. And when you step outside of it, it's going to do its best to snatch you back in.
Yeah.
And that's a reason why you have to check within yourself. You have to know what your inner world is. And y'all, it's not easy. It is not
Mm-mm.
easy because all of that within those systems, you're being
This is
groomed to a
fire.
certain way of being. And so your mind, your brain is going to want to give you what you've always been doing, even if it is not healthy for you. Your brain is going to say, okay, on Thursday at 5 o'clock, you always and go and have an argument with this person. So, all right, let's get ramped up. Let's start arguing. Let's start cutting up.
Right.
Because your brain's job is first and foremost to keep you safe,
Yeah.
but it is to feed you what is familiar. The brain
Yeah.
recognizes patterns. And so we have to sit with these things and see ourselves as we are, not as who we hope to be, but as we
Exactly.
who as we truly are. And as a matter of fact, I just talked about that on my own podcast, facing who we are in order to
Mm-hmm.
heal.
That sounds good.
And it's difficult. Again, it's something that I've had to do over and over and over again. And as long as you are human and living on this earth and you are trying to grow and be better, you're always going to have to face yourself. You're going to have to
Yeah.
face who you are.
Yes. And that's a
Because that's
moment
going to
to
be the issue.
moment thing. It's not, you know, we have these fearful connotations that surround statements like that.
Hmm.
And it's only fearful because you don't know what you're going to discover.
Yes. Yes.
That's what the courage is for. You
Yes.
feel the fear and you go on anyway. Now
Yes.
it might feel like you're in a scary movie and you're the first person that's about to be killed.
Yes. Yes.
But you really
But
to
that's where you build
stop.
community. That's where you begin to build community with people who have also experienced similar things because they'll show you that you're not the first person to go through this scary movie,
That's
you
true.
know? And they can
That's
show
true.
you, okay, they're gonna jump out right there at that part.
Right.
Be ready. You know, they can show you those things and you'll also find good along this journey. You'll
Yeah.
find your strengths. You'll find out that you're not as weak as you think you are. You're not some horrible, wretched person. And you'll
Right.
begin to see that you do actually have a choice. You
Yes.
have a choice. You always do. You may not always be able to see that choice. You may not always be able to access that choice. But that's the reason why we continue to do our work and show up for ourselves and talk
Yeah.
about these things so that we can begin to access these choices and choose what we feel is best for us in the moment. And then, as we grow and we learn, we'll choose what's best for us in the next moment. It's always, we're moving forward and we're evolving into who we are becoming.
Always. Excellent. I couldn't have said it any even I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, should
Absolutely.
I, I mean, it's great. It's so once you do it, it's so transformative that
Yes.
you either get to points where you're like, well, damn, I should have did this a long time.
Yes.
But
I can't
everything
tell you the
is
number of times I've said that.
you look around, you don't know how to act.
Yes.
There's so much peace around. But you have to
Yes.
get to the point where, like you said, you have to get to the point where you show up for yourself.
Yes.
And that's another
Yes.
thing victims need to know. They need to notice
Yes.
is that
Yes.
you have the opportunity to show up for yourself.
Yes.
Just because whoever's around you is not doing it,
You
may or
do it for
may
yourself.
not,
Yeah.
you always got you. And you
Absolutely.
always are going to have you.
Yes.
Me personally, I believe in this life and the ones to come. You gonna have you. So
Yes.
that's the one that needs to be your anchor, your rock is
Yes.
you. But you can't be a rock if you keep choosing to feel like, to perceive that you're broken. And
Yes.
like
I
evangelist,
agree.
like you were saying, you have to
Yeah.
you have to go through it, you have to face it so you can see that I'm strong here. I need to
Yes.
work on this a little bit, but
Yeah.
I'm strong here. And a lot of
Yes.
times you can use those strengths to assist you in those times where you're having those challenges where you need improvement.
Yes. Yes.
One
Yes.
strength that leading edge diversions have is compassion.
Yes.
Ready, we always kind of compassionate to everybody else.
Yes.
We get the scraps. Give
Yes.
that shit to
Yes.
you.
Yes. Give it to yourself.
Give it to
And
yourself.
I tell people because a lot of people like to talk about people being broken and things like that. I don't identify with being broken. I
Mm-mm.
identify with being impacted.
Right.
I have been impacted, but I'm not broken because I've been all over the place. I've
Right.
been, I'm resilient and I still stand. And I'm doing the work that I need to do to continue to be able to face life as it comes at me. Because it ain't gonna stop coming at you until you're in the grave.
Right. And the stuff that's in your shadow for me. If I'm stubborn and I'm mean, I'm an asshole, I might well use it to be better.
Right.
I might
Eh,
well use it to be healthy.
Yes.
I
Yes.
can use stubborn
Yes.
and mean and asshole to set boundaries.
Yeah. People talk about being in their villain era, and it's just them setting boundaries.
Right, that's it.
It's
That's it.
it's just them setting
You
boundaries.
you can't stay the villain if you
Right.
want to be the hero. You want to be the
Yeah.
star. You
Yeah.
can't. You can't be the star and the villain.
Yes.
You gotta have a villain chapter and
Yeah.
move on.
Yes. Move forward.
But
Absolutely.
that's getting a little. It's getting a little loose. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, things
Yeah.
start out all right, then they get a little loose.
Yeah.
But but in all you're getting, get an understanding. That's all I'm
Absolutely.
saying. Make sure you
Yeah.
balance in what you're doing.
Yeah.
That you just ain't out
Absolutely.
here mad setting boundaries with people that's actually telling you the damn truth about who you
Yes.
are.
Yeah.
And then who you
And
are,
you,
own it.
yes.
You know. And by
Yes.
owning it, I mean they don't mean you deserve to go to jail unless you're doing some shit illegal. But own it.
Yes.
Yeah, yes, I did do that. I'm working on it. I'm working through
Yes.
that. If they got
Yes.
something to say, then they got something to say. That's
Yeah.
them.
Yes. Yes.
That's how I handle reactive abuse. I don't give it no smoke.
Yes.
I don't give it any power. And our
Yes.
power is through our emotions.
Absolutely.
Emotion, energy in motion. That's how you
Yes.
give your energy away, by
Yep.
giving your emotion to people.
Absolutely. That's why you feel drained afterwards.
Right. And
And you don't
and
know how this got there. How did we get there again? Because you've given your emotion to that. And when we get to a heightened state of emotion,
yeah.
we can check out because we're
Yes.
trying to defend ourselves. We feel threatened. And so then we go into fight, flight, freeze, fawn, whatever it may be
Yeah.
at any given time. And we don't know what happened. And that's the whole goal
That's
of
and that's the
Jarbo
loop.
and
That's the loop.
gaslighting and all of that. We have to stay centered and grounded in who we are, even when somebody's trying to convince us that we're not that person, you know. And like Nicole said, continuing to do your work so you know who you are. You
Right.
know who you are.
Nobody has the right to tell you what your story is.
Yes.
You're your own individual.
Yes.
And we're here to create, I believe, our own reality. I can't
Yes.
do that if I'm listening to other people.
Yes, true.
I can
Yes.
glean from other people. I can be inspired and influenced by other people. But
Yeah.
other people can't speak into my life unless I allow it.
Yep. That's true. That's
And,
absolutely true. That's absolutely true.
all right, Benji, I don't want to hold him too long. I can talk forever about this.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
yeah, I think that's all. If you want to know anything about what's the transits and everything that's going on right now, the July basket just passed. But right now, I know that one of the major transits is there is a full moon in Aquarius. We are in Leo
Absolutely.
season, so um, let's let go of those things that I mean, like we were talking about in the episode, this keeping us to being who we are.
Yeah,
You can
absolutely.
release the things right now that are
Yes,
hindering you from being who you are.
absolutely.
And it goes right along with the transits this happening in the 2026 year. We're supposed to be resetting ourselves, recreating ourselves. Who do you want to be between now and 36 years from now? I mean, it's long haul.
That's a long
So you can
time.
just start over, just be a whole new person
Yes.
out here popping, doing whatever you
Yes.
want, being whoever you want to be, as long as it's healthy.
That's the key.
Because this is the age of Aquarius. I
And it
know, you might
unexpected.
think I sound crazy. However, this is the energy.
It is. This is the age of Aquarius. Uranus
Right.
rules Aquarius, and Saturn is its old ruler, which
Right.
is the planet of discipline and father. Do not play around with
Right. They're not
Aquarius.
having it.
I am an Aquarius, by the way, and my life
Yes.
has been a testament to this unexpected change and being disciplined in a way that make you want to cuss somebody out.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing you could also take advantage of the Aquarius full moon to let go of. I lost it. I lost it. It must not needed to be said. All right. Well,
Okay.
we're moving
Okay.
on.
Okay.
Aquarius era is here. It is officially here. I think the Leo Aquarius axis. If we have did the shift, have we did the shift? It it's either here or it's coming.
Yeah.
It's so many major transits that I can barely keep up. But I
Yeah.
do think the end of July with Leo season coming in. the axis shift. So we are supposed to be more like the Aquarians now
Yep.
and less like Leo for the rest of the year, or till the axis shift again. Yeah, it's a year. It's a year. Till this time next year, you need to be setting things up
Yep.
the Aquarius way,
Yep.
and they know how to be a part of a crowd and be
Yep. And
themselves at the
still be an
same
individual.
time.
Yep.
And I think
Absolutely.
these generations, that's the way they're going to evolve and thrive. You're
Yep.
only going to be able to thrive as an individual within whatever community that you're in.
Yes.
And all of this who shot John that having in Pisces season where you my little secret and all
Oh
that.
yeah.
All of that
No.
is wiped out. If you're doing anything without integrity at this time,
It's going to be exposed.
yeah.
And it will be exposed in a way that you did not expect.
And you can
Because
and nobody can unsee.
yes, Uranus don't play with you. It
No.
don't play with you. So
It's
take
Saturn
that
don't either.
and go for it.
All right, that concludes this episode. Thank you, Evangela, for
You're welcome.
being on here. We're gonna bring you back, of course. But I'm glad that we had the opportunity to have this discussion. I knew you were the right
Yes,
person to have this discussion with.
absolutely. Glad to be
So
on.
look at Evangela's platforms. I love her TikTok. I do. I love her TikTok. So
Yeah, I'm on
not
all
that's my favorite,
platforms.
but you're on Instagram too, I know.
Yeah, I'm on all platforms except for X. And I'm writing on Substack. And I want to encourage my dear Nicole to get on Substack and start doing the astrology and readings there on Substack as well.
Okay. I'll definitely look into it. I'm willing. I'm willing to go.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm
But y'all,
willing to go.
this has absolutely been a pleasure. I encourage everybody to keep tuning in to what Nicole is bringing, because I've never heard anything fall to the ground when she is sharing from her gift. So please continue to tune in. My podcast is the Complex Life Podcast, and I do plan to have her on there as well. But just keep doing your work. Keep doing the things that make you feel good and are healthy for you, because that's what's going to help you to be able to get through the hard times.
Yeah, that's true. All right. Well, thank you again, Evangela, and thank
You're welcome.
everyone else for listening. And until we meet again, y'all live well, but die free.